Josiah, we are back at Monday Night Raw, and if I'm not mistaken, it'll be August 11th?
You got it.
Yeah,
Yes.
of 2003. Simple math.
My man doing basic math out here.
That's the beauty of knowing when SmackDown's happening.
We opened the show the same way we ended it, with my boy Keith coming out and saying, "Listen, you know what this Evolve title's about. Let's not act like we're dancing around the facts. We gotta get ready for my first challenger. So who wants it first? Who's gonna be the first guy to challenge Rikishi for the Evolve Championship?"
Can I add one line to this?
Absolutely.
Yokozuna, The Rock, coming soon, Rikishi,
Ooh, I like it.
world champion, undisputed champion, top guy.
World undisputed champion, heavyweight,
Yeah, top dude.
AEW,
Yeah.
top guy. So, you want to take guesses for who's coming up? I guarantee you'll never get it, but
Oh, okay. Then that makes me think it's not a person actively used.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna throw out Grandmaster Sexay.
Ooh, I would have loved it if I had him. But he's unfortunately not in the company.
Okay.
So,
You know how sometimes there are cameos.
yeah, there are cameos.
Like
and
I need to check and see. I know Marty Jannetty had like 2, maybe 3 matches.
yeah, random ones out.
And they're all around WrestleMania 21, so like
Yeah.
I know I don't got to worry about it right now.
Yeah,
but I got to figure out
plenty
what
of
those
time.
cameos are because I'm
Time.
excited for that.
Gotta have him. But no, it is a similar flamboyant individual though.
Okay.
It is Rico,
Okay.
and boy does he look so good to me.
I like that.
So obviously Rico comes out now. One of the more popular options for the Evolve title is that the challenger can pick the stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And Rico is many things, but he's not a great wrestler. Well, he is a good wrestler, but he's not better than Rikishi,
Sure.
is the point. So, Rico says, instead of having a wrestling match for this Evolve title, me and you are going to have a dance-off.
I knew it.
And it will be decided by the crowd who will be the champion at whenever the match happens.
Yeah.
Nope, I didn't put it in the main event. Good job, me. In the main event of this evening.
There's no way. Come on now.
Main event.
That's ridiculous.
It's gonna be great. I think this is the first Raw that's ever gonna finish in a dance off. Oh, we love to see it.
Do you remember? I think it was a Raw Roulette, but it was something like that at least, where they had musical chairs.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my goodness! So that
Who did Flair push?
I feel like Stacy.
Was it
I
Stacy?
feel like it was Stacy. But it was just like at least that wasn't in the main event. So I hope Rikishi gets murdered in the main event.
Bro, it's so
Stone Cold drives his truck down and Monster Truck crushes the ring.
I mean, Eric might come in karate chop him or something. Who knows? You know. Shoot, this is Monday Night Raw. Anything?
I'll give you credit. I put Teddy Long in the main event of a SmackDown, so you can put a dance off in the main event of Raw, I guess.
Hey, listen, I don't do this silly stuff too often,
That's
so
true.
I feel like I have carte blanche.
That's why I said
Do something completely
I'll let it
ridiculous.
go. I'll let it go because like I made a mistake once.
All right. Well, let's get back to the serious and logical stuff. Then.
Yes.
Backstage, we see Randy Orton, and he's looking at Triple H and Ric Flair and saying, "Why did you guys stop me? That was my opportunity to go back out there and get my championship back."
Mm-hmm.
And Triple H says, "Listen, I get it. You want that Evolve title back so you can get to the world title. But the fact of the matter is, as long as we have these RVD and Dudley problems, we're not going to be able to win any championships.
Good
We're
point.
not going to be able to get anything done. So we got to take care of business. And the best way to take care of business is to see those three in the ring at SummerSlam." So, trios action, 6-man tag action, whatever we say here at AEW, because you say trios. So, trios.
Mm-hmm.
Action will be going down to SummerSlam. Evolution versus ECW OGs. They technically don't have a group name,
Right.
but it's Rob and the Dudleys, so get away with that one. Next up,
I just thought of something.
let's hear it.
So when the Dudley Boys were heels, Jim Ross would love to say, "Those damn Dudley Boys," right?
Damn.
And so Jerry Lawler could jokingly say, "Those damn Dudley Boys," but DAM, like Rob Van Dam.
I love it. All right, cool. So, oh, that's great. So, next up, we have Christian going one-on-one with Steven Richards
Okay.
in a good old-fashioned wrestling match, you know? And, Richards is a good wrestler. Love Steven Richards.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Christian, man. You know, footwork, the natural talent, the charisma,
Yes.
the peeps. The peeps are going crazy for Christian,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yeah, I've always thought Christian was top quality talent.
Shoot. He's back on AEW television doing top quality stuff.
So I can remember being young. I'm gonna say 12 or 13.
So young.
And this adult who thought a lot of herself saw a drawing of, and mind you, this is Brood Christian, right? So
So
long hair, sunglasses,
Yep.
basically a Seinfeld poofy shirt Christian.
Yeah.
And so I drew a picture of Christian from that era, and she says, "Is that what you think Christians look like?" Because I wrote Christian next to the picture.
Because that's his name.
And I was like, I just looked at her like, "Are you an idiot?" Like, I can't say that, obviously, you're an adult, but I'm like, that is his name. His name is Christian.
His name is actually
And
Christian.
she's like, "Oh, I thought that's what you thought Christians look like."
I'm like, do you think I'm dumb?
yeah, basically. It's like, oh,
Yeah, I'm convinced a lot of people think kids are dumb,
yes,
and it shows.
I agree. Like, the older I get, the more I'm like, have I ever not been just me?
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like I'm pretty consistent.
there's a concept when you're a kid where you're like, oh, one day I'll be a grown up and things will make sense. And then I'm like, wait a second, things always are a struggle.
Yep.
Like,
Why to say never changes.
that's like maybe what's struggling is
Yeah.
different, but like there's always some sort of struggle out there. So
Yeah, that is one of the few things that is always consistent. The struggle never goes away.
Yeah.
My grandpa used to always say the struggle continues, and I'm like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the struggle just continues on. So anyway, Christian beats Steven Richards with the kill switch.
Absolutely.
1, 2, 3. As Christian's walking to the back, we have Chris Jericho's music hit. Jericho is walking out to the ring for his match with Tommy Dreamer, who is also out there for.
Love it.
Richards
Love the bleed
and
over. It's my
whatnot.
favorite.
Yep. And as he's walking by, Big Kane walks by. Christian just walks past Jericho and Kane, but Sean O'Hare walks by and just stares at Christian. Christian looks at him, gives a eyebrow, and then just keeps walking. Like,
Yeah.
all right, weirdo.
All right, weird. I like that.
And then obviously they go down in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho, confidence in the toilet right
Yes.
now. But he's questioning his life choices. But Sean O'Hare comes in, hypes him up, gives him the spiel. You're Chris effing Jericho. You're the Ayatollah of rock and roll. You're the first ever undisputed champion. You beat The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the same night. You can beat ECW legend Tommy Dreamer. In fact, you can make him tap out.
That's cool. I believe it.
And then he does that exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris actually is a former ECW television champion.
Yep.
So
he has the roots. He's very familiar with.
absolutely. Yeah. No. I'll be honest. I think Jericho is. Granted, people say, and there's an argument to be made that he's not doing his top work, but like discounting recent events, I think the guy's an all-timer.
Oh yeah,
Like,
still
my
is.
goodness.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. Even before AEW, Jericho was an all-time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, even before the Festival of Friendship stuff, Jericho was an all-time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that run in 2008, I think, is what solidified him in my mind.
The feud with Shawn Michaels and his wife.
Yep. Like that entire feud was like, oh, this guy's just great.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
always will be.
What's funny, I think the moment that I knew, oh, this guy's got it.
Yeah.
So there was a feud with Dean Malenko where Chris was basically he was a conspiracy theorist, and in Washington he was going through all the rule books and the addendums and the this and that. WCW. Oh my goodness,
Okay.
yeah. And then also his Rey Mysterio feud and Juventud Guerrero, where
Those I remember.
oh
Yeah.
love that stuff. That
Well,
whole,
I'm not remember. Those I've watched.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But this whole it was the character work, right? Because he
Yeah.
was always a good wrestler.
Yeah,
But
that never changed.
Honestly, at the time there were so many good wrestlers that it was like
Who cares?
okay,
Yeah.
like
This guy I don't like now.
yeah, WCW their main event was lacking in.
Athletes.
Great wrestling, but every other division was just loaded down with amazing wrestling. That's why that Hogan and no offense, Warrior and Goldberg and Nash and all those guys could get by with it. Steiner.
Yeah, because I didn't.
Although I think Steiner was actually better than basically everybody else.
Better than his WWE run would indicate. Well, to be fair, because before he he was still good in WCW, but before he bleached his hair and became genetic freak Scott Steiner, that dude was a beast in the ring.
Absolutely, my goodness, he literally invented things that people were like, oh, who would have thought that the first guy to ever do this move was a guy that big.
I still watch Braun Breaker do the Frankenstein. I think, oh, this must be what it felt like to watch Scott Steiner do this in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just amazing. I still, to this day, think that Scott Steiner with the Steiner Bros and Scott Steiner Big Papa Pump are two different people. I cannot believe they're the same guy.
Can you believe? So, you remember how I said that Rikishi's trying to get that same rarefied air as Yokozuna and The Rock?
Yep.
Can you believe that Bruce Pritchard pitched for Scott Steiner to win the Royal Rumble? The first Royal Rumble, mind you, that would send the winner to the main event of WrestleMania?
No, I can't believe that.
So, in 1993... the year that Yokozuna won the Rumble, the first Rumble that would guarantee you the main event of WrestleMania. Now, granted, Hogan won a few and he was still champion and he still main evented, but my point is, the first year that it was set, the winner of this match goes on the main event of WrestleMania.
Right.
Bruce Pritchard pitched Scott Steiner to win because he saw him as a rising, he's like this young, if we're going to build the new generation, a next generation, let's just make a new guy.
Make a star.
And he just saw something in Scott, which obviously we all saw 3, 4, 5 years later.
Yeah, not too long after.
But imagine, if you will. Now, granted, he wouldn't have the goatee, but I would imagine that if Scott won the Royal Rumble in '93, he probably would have gotten rid of the mullet. And so, he was always some sort of jacked. Not nearly as jacked as he became.
I'm about to say he became
strong.
Scary jacks.
And so imagine, if you will, a world where Scott Steiner wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Bret the Hitman Hart.
What a show.
Now, there wouldn't have been no salt thrown in the eyes.
Oh, no.
But, I could see a world where Bret and Scott go hard and fast and action-packed for a while.
Whatever you.
Then you can turn Scott heel in the match, cheat somehow. Whatever, don't matter.
Yeah.
Somehow cheat, and then Hogan comes out. He's like, I got your back, Bret. But in my booking, Scott would then beat Hogan to keep the title because it's like, nah, that don't work for me, brother. Thank you for being here at Mr. Super Oz. This video is going out, and this channel only exists because I, Oz, founded Gamble Comics, which first release was Everlasting Survivors, a 68-page graphic novel called All Day Long. Available now. Follow the link in the description that will take you to gamblecomics.com. While there, you can get hats, shirts, posters, much, much more. But most importantly, the story itself. Did you watch the Becoming a Spectacle documentary about WrestleMania 9?
Mm.
So many talking heads in the documentary were non-wrestling entities. So, sports broadcasters.
So they actually went outside the field of usual suspects.
So the reason was because they were all Nevada-based characters.
Yeah.
I'll say characters is the wrong word, but people.
Yeah.
Talking heads. And so
personalities.
Yeah, personalities is a great one. But there's this guy who was a part of the venue, Caesar's stuff.
Caesar's Palace.
And when it's announced that WrestleMania is going to be happening there, he goes to Vince and he's like, so how is Hogan going to walk away with the title? And Vince is like, he's not. He's like, okay. And so then a few months goes by and he's like, so how's Hogan going to do? He's like, he's not. And then Hogan gets announced and the guy's like, so how's Hogan walking away with the title? And then lo and behold, Hogan walks away with the title. So the guy's like, he's like, I don't know if I willed it into existence or if it was always going to be the case, but
I feel like he willed it into existence.
yeah, it's like kept bugging the.
He's like, you know what? All right, fine. He wins the belt. Yeah,
like,
whatever. My God.
Yeah, there's a guy that I like, Solomon Monster, Jason Solomon.
Yeah, I remember this guy.
And he loves saying that Charlotte Flair cashed in her Charlotte in the Bank, but Hogan was the first ever.
How about that? He was the originator.
The originator for cashing in my Hogan in the Bank.
I'm not gonna lie. At least with Charlotte, I can like tolerate her.
Mhm.
I can at least enjoy seeing her on the screen.
Sure.
I like her matches. I've genuinely never enjoyed Hulk Hogan.
I'll say this: you have the perspective
Okay.
of not growing up with him being the top guy.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely paints a picture. Because in my world where I grew up with him being the guy, now granted, I'm an oddball, so I was always pro Mr. Perfect, Ted DiBiase, and Ravishing Rick Rude.
Of course.
Randy Savage. Anybody?
Savage, baby.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you wrestling against Hogan? Yeah.
And so, like, I'm the anomaly, but, like, I get the idea of an outside perspective where you're like, well, this guy's not even the best of the bunch.
Yeah. I'm about to say, out of all the options we had, and don't get me wrong, I get it. I understand. Like, especially, like, I didn't grow up in the 80s, obviously, but, like, the say your prayers, eat your vitamins,
Yeah.
all that stuff. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I understand why he was as popular as he was. I just personally don't
Yeah, I get
like
it.
him.
Yeah.
And I also think, because the first time I saw Hogan on TV was in TNA.
Oh, that
Which is insane.
Yeah.
But that was like the first time like I actually watched him do anything live
Mhm.
was all the TNA stuff.
Yep.
And even then, I'm like, you're not even the most interesting guy on my television. Right
Oh
now.
yeah, I was some terrible times.
Yeah, which was rough, real rough. But listen, I respect everything Hogan's done for the business. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Like wrestling wouldn't be what it is without him. Yada yada.
You know
But
what's funny?
Savage was always right. He had lust in his eyes.
That's true. But you know what I find funny? Often, I think that I can replace people. Actually, there's a whole gimmick swap show
Yeah,
on the channel about
whole
that.
show about that.
But I am struggling right now in this moment to pinpoint who could be given say your prayers, eat your vitamins, do the right thing, the Hulk up, all of it. I'm struggling to think who could be the guy. Because he would need size.
Yep.
Not many people had it.
We need the charisma.
The look, the
Hogan
charisma. Yeah.
has charisma.
Exactly.
I can't say
Because,
he
like, let's say it was Savage, right? He doesn't have the height. Like, he had a good physique, and
Great
he had
physique.
great promos.
Mhm.
But, like, he lacked the height. And so, and maybe it's the idea, because much like John Cena, it has been said that Hogan intentionally made sure that people who could get inside his area, his spot, if you will,
in his zone.
he kept them at bay.
Yeah.
John Cena was given that reputation from people such as a Chris Masters or an Alex Riley. I'm sure there are more. Kenny Dykstra was
Kenny
another one.
Dykstra, yeah, I forgot about that one.
And so I'm sure that Hogan probably had more than one person that he was like, you know what, we don't need this guy
I'm
here.
about to say. Vince, like, I don't think this guy's the guy.
Do you know who Dusty Rhodes thought was the next Hulk Hogan?
Who?
Magnum TA.
Oh,
So he had height.
I did hear about.
He had the
that,
look. He had the
It
wrestling
factor.
ability.
Yeah.
It factor, exactly. Do you know what took him out?
Didn't he have a car accident?
A motorcycle, but yeah.
Close.
Maybe it was a car motorcycle, but he had an accident.
There was an accident of some kind.
And it's what led to the end of his career. But, like, if he had been pushed to be that Hogan level, it's like he actually has a step up on Hogan with the full head of hair.
That's true. Was Hogan never not bold? I've never seen.
I've never seen him with a full head of hair.
Like ever.
In wrestling. I
Yeah.
think I saw a picture of him in, like, high school with
Because
Enough.
before he was in WWE, I can't remember the territory. he was in.
AWA.
Was it AWA?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
where Hulkamania started, was in the AWA.
Yeah. So even in AWA, he's like in his 20s or something, right?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yeah.
He had no hair.
Very, very little. Very, very little. Yeah. It was
He's been bald his whole life.
basically,
That sucks.
yeah. But,
Okay.
yeah, it's like I said, it's a struggle for me to be like, oh, who could have taken that spot?
Because
Because, like,
you can't just drop anyone in there and still
so
have the same success.
let's say you fast forward a few years, right?
Mhm.
And we're replacing another guy, the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
So if the Ultimate Warrior was not played by Jim Hellwig, but instead played by Steve Borden, I don't think you would have ever had to needed to drop the title back off of the Warrior. I think that Steve Borden would have had the ability to keep the top spot.
Yeah.
Because Steve Borden has an abundance of charisma,
As we saw with Sting.
a vast amount of talent. So I think that if Vince would have picked up the other Blade Runner, then I think he would have been all right.
Well, too bad Sting didn't do enough steroids. Grind champ.
He was still in great shape.
It was jacked.
Yeah.
Absolutely jacked. Honestly, even in AEW, like he's like 62, 63, whatever he was.
Yeah.
He was
Still in great shape, yeah.
Phenomenal shape. Incredible. All right, so, sorry, we went off on a long tangent just to get back to Jericho tapping out Tommy Dreamer with the Walls of Jericho. But that is what happened. Next up on the show.
They're all fun stuff, though.
I'm about to say. It was a great conversation. I enjoyed it. Anytime I can bash Hulk Hogan, I'm all for it. So, Kurt says there will be a U.S. title open challenge at SummerSlam. And this open challenge is an open challenge. So this isn't just for Raw. This isn't just for SmackDown. This is for anyone in AEW. Because I guess technically we don't do Velocity and Heat, so I guess it is just Raw and SmackDown.
Well, what I would say is, if it was me, Kurt Angle says, I have beaten wrestlers on Raw. I can beat wrestlers on SmackDown. But I proved in the Olympics, I am the best wrestler. So this open challenge is open to anybody who thinks they can out-wrestle Kurt Angle.
All right, so erase what I said, put that in there, and that's what he said. After Kurt does that, there's a segment, Stacey's game planning. She's got the paper. She's got possible yada-yadas.
Plan ahead, yeah.
Etc. Trish Stratus comes out and very high school-ish way knocks the papers out of her hand. Ha, ha, ha.
I love this boy, Trish.
Away. And then, so after she does that, Rosen's got excited. Seems like, get out of your shoe, you. But, not as 4-year-old-y.
Yes.
Picks up the papers, and that ends the segment.
Potentially, it could even be like, stop acting childish, because that's what she was doing.
Exactly. Next up, we have Gail Kim in Eric's office talking about needing protection after the attack that she suffered by Victoria. So, of course, that's when Tori Wilson comes in. It's like, oh my God, Gail, I've been looking all over for you. Thank God. I know you're really concerned about, your SummerSlam match. You don't have one yet. Well, don't worry. We'll be remedying that next week. It'll be a number one contenders match between Molly Holly and your best friend Victoria.
Tori.
Tori, Molly Holly, yep. Last but not least, main event of the evening. This is what you've been waiting for, Oz.
Actually, I put it out of my mind. That's how much I'm not looking forward to it.
Rikishi versus Rico. Dance battle!
Ugh.
So Rico busts out some moves straight out the 70s. Moves that would put Disco Inferno to shame, which isn't that hard. But, nonetheless, he is getting down with his bad self. Basically, they're playing Let's Groove Tonight, and he is grooving tonight. And then Rikishi, however, and to be fair, Rico has some moves. He killed it. He gets a polite clap from the audience. Even they're like, okay, gotta admit that was pretty good. But then, Rikishi cheats and just does the Too Cool dance. And
the crowd's obviously into that.
That's always going to get a pop.
Yes.
Always going to get a pop. So, obviously, Rikishi secures his first defense of the Evolve title with a dance.
This is not how we're ending the show, is it?
Oh, yeah, no, the show's up. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. Rico swings on Rikishi. Rikishi ducks it. Hits him with a Rikishi driver. And then Sean O'Haire comes out.
Okay, that's much better.
Yeah. I know. Listen, you gotta let me have a goofy moment here.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no.
But yeah, no. O'Haire comes out and challenges Rikishi for the Evolve title next week. Rikishi accepts, but Sean says, "Oh, I'm sorry. There's some confusion. You think I'm challenging you? No, that's not what's happening. He's challenging you. Chokeslam. Kane, Pyro. That's the show.
I like that. Yeah, that's a great finish.